Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. In this video lecture, we are going to learn about diffusions of innovation theory, which is a very important concept in development communication. This is the lecture 3. Kindly tell me whether I am audible और अगर आप लोग मुझे देख सकते हैं, then we shall start. Meanwhile, if you are new to my channel, my name is Tushar Goyal. I am a Ph.D. research scholar at Center for Media Studies, JNU, and I have also qualified JRF. If you are preparing for any kind of media exam, you can join our channel and connect with us on Telegram on our application. All the links are in the description box. So, am I audible, Kirti? Hello, good morning, Priyam. Shall we begin? Is it audible? Okay. So, dear students, when we talk about diffusion of innovations, we have to look at the social systems. एक society में कोई भी एक innovation है. It can be in the form of a COVID vaccine. Okay. It can be a birth control tablet. It can be a agricultural drone. Can anybody in the comment box tell me about any kind of new innovation? Say there is a kind of new innovation these days in your kitchen, which is air fryers. So how many of you have those air fryers in your homes recently? Or say a behavior like Swachh Bharat. So can anybody tell me any kind of innovation or a new idea, new behavior which you might be experiencing right now in your life? You might be adapting to it. Yes, Priyam, recently. So I gave you an example. I saw that a lot of people around me, they have started using these air fryers. Okay, now they are in every kitchen, or a lot of people are using them. Komal is saying AI tools. Okay, good, a very good example. What about Kirti and other people? What is there any kind of new innovation you are looking around or adapting to? So when we say from societal point of view, so when we talk about birth control, tablets, okay, or say new technologies like tablets, Kindles, okay. So this theory, this model, it is used by advertisers, social scientists, medical sciences, okay. When they have created this vaccine, okay, there was diffusion of this innovation. Okay, we are going to learn about this theory in great detail. First, we are going to run through all the concepts, then we will also solve several PYQs. Okay, so what we are doing, we are learning about development communication. This is lecture number 3. So in the last class, we learned about the modernization theory. Okay, so what was the gist of modernization theory? Can Priyam, Komal, Kirti or Neha, can anybody tell me in the gist, in one line, what was modernizing theory? To develop third world countries, we should copy paste the development policies or those capitalistic norms, okay, all those industrialization in these countries. And how will they be successful? With the huge consumerism, yes, adapting to Western culture. To make them adapt to these Western culture or those products, we have to actually diffuse those products, those services, okay, those ideas, okay. So diffusion of innovation actually answers how, why and at what rate new ideas, new behaviors and technology spread. Okay, so it can be ideas also like family planning, okay, or behaviors, Swachh Bharat, we should follow cleanliness, or technology. Okay, moving forward. So this theory or model, we can also call it a model. Okay, it came in 1962. So Everett Rogers, he wrote a book called Diffusion of Innovation. The theory describes how new ideas, अभी जिसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे थे, ठीक है, behaviors, technologies or goods spread through a population rather than all at once. Okay, so he is saying that it takes time, there is a process. Okay, there are several elements which actually influences this rate of adoption, diffusion. And my guys, always remember that this theory is used by advertisers, okay, or the management people. Okay, so if somebody is launching a new product, they always will be interested in knowing the rate of adoption. It is used by the people in medical sciences, those who developed this vaccine. How can we diffuse this? Or in developmental studies, when they create these programs like Swachh Bharat, okay, all these. So sir, ये L2 दिख रहा है. Okay, I will change the thumbnail. I have realized that there was a mistake in thumbnail. I will change it. Okay, then what actually did he do? So dear students, what do you mean by diffusion? Tell me, what according to you is diffusion? Tell me in your language, in a word or two, or in a line, what do you think is diffusion or diffusing something? So Everett Rogers, he actually synthesized 508 diffusion studies. Okay, so diffusion is a you can say branch of research where people study how people are going to adopt a certain kind of thing. So his major study was of Ryan, one study called Ryan and Gross, okay, based on agricultural adoption of certain kind of seeds. Okay, so when they came up with new kinds of seeds, at what rate of adoption it was diffused or adopted by a lot of farmers. Okay, so Everett M. Rogers actually synthesized research of 508 diffusion studies. So diffusion studies हर फील्ड में हो सकती है, मेडिकल साइंस में हो सकती है, when we talk about a new kind of drug. Okay, it can be also done in say management studies, okay, or even development studies. So he synthesized 508 different kind of studies in anthropology, early sociology, rural sociology, education. Okay, how education? So if somebody is coming up with a new kind of curriculum, okay, so at what rate of adoption all the educational institutions are going to adopt it. Okay, industrial sociology and medical sociology. And he found a pattern to all this meta-analysis. So what is meta-analysis? When we synthesize a lot of studies already conducted and we come up with conclusion. He found that every study, okay, the rate of adoption, it was S-shaped. ये आप remember रखना, अभी हम इसके बारे में अच्छे से बात करेंगे, ठीक है, S-shaped. So he found that all the diffusion studies, they were S-shaped. Okay, so there was a pattern to it. So in the beginning it was very slow, only few people adopted it. Then there was a steady rise. Okay, and then at the end there was also few people who were lagging behind. Okay, very slow adoption. So this was an S curve. He found that in every diffusion studies, these 508 studies, there was a similar pattern. Okay, moving forward. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is the process by which an innovation can be an technology, okay, new idea, behavior, okay, is communicated through certain channels over time among participants in a social system. So बहुत ही ज़्यादा important बात कर रहे हैं. He is actually talking about 5 elements. So Roger proposes that 5 elements influence the spread of ideas. So there are 5 key elements. 5 मुख्य कारण होते हैं जिससे ये जो rate of adoption होता है ये determine होता है. So see, it can be 12 months, okay, it can be even 12 years, or it can be even 50 years. Okay, so there might be a say new kind of social networking site. Okay, so say there is a new social networking site called X, which is a competition to Twitter. So people might adopt it in 12th month. So you will find that the pattern would be very similar. Say there is a new kind of technology, so agricultural drones. This is a very new kind of technologies these days. So a lot of drones are being democratized in a manner that they are being provided at a very economical price. So if agricultural drones, if a lot of farmers have to adopt it, it will also go through similar S-shaped pattern. Okay, so here time frame might be 10 years. Okay, here I gave you example of X. Say we are taking example of this agricultural drone. You all know now what is a drone. Okay, it's this okay, this is very basic stuff. Okay, so let's say it will be 10 years. In the beginning, for you can say 5 years, only few people, okay, later he will call them innovators, only few people are going to adopt to it. Then there will be a steady rise, okay, and there will be few people who will be always laggards. Okay, what he is saying is that this is a pattern in all the diffusion studies. Okay, so whenever there were diffusion studies conducted, say there is another kind of drug. Okay, say there is a new drug in the market which cures hair fall. Okay, but there is no or there is very less amount of study conducted on it. Okay, so say tomorrow there comes a drug in the market which can actually cure hair fall or alopecia, but it will take time to diffuse that. Okay, it might be 50 years in that case. So in the beginning only few people are going to take it. But isn't it so interesting that he says that it's a pattern, it's a S-shaped pattern. So you should remember, if they ask you according to diffusion of innovation, what kind of pattern is it? Is it a linear pattern, S-shaped pattern, okay, or inverted pattern? It was a S-shaped pattern. Moving forward, this rate of adoption, how much time does it take? Or it can be even a year, it can be 50 years. So it depends on 5 factors. Okay, the innovation itself, the adopters, the communication channels, time, and social system. Okay, these are very important. So what is the innovation? Any idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new. So this is the keyword. Okay, so this diffusion studies, as Roger points it out, this diagram is also present in his book. So there is a book called Diffusion of Innovation which was released in 1962. It is readily available on internet. So he says that this diffusion studies is a part of communication studies. Okay, so this is communication studies, how people can adopt to it, and this diffusion study is a part of it. Okay, so it begins with a new innovation. So people might study about older innovations also. So say Apple is studying about its own products which are already available in the market. It's again there are studies going on, how can we resell certain products. But these diffusion studies, they deal with the new kind of ideas which have been not you can say diffused yet in the society. So can anybody tell me of more kind of innovations you are experiencing around you? So we discussed air fryers, we discussed agricultural drones. In 1950s it was birth control pills, okay, or a lot of you can say family welfare schemes. Recent example was COVID-19 vaccines. So it was a Herculean task to actually diffuse the idea of taking vaccines. Okay, there was a lot of misinformation in the society. So this becomes very important in developmental studies also. Moving forward, then the second factor is the kind of adopters. Okay, it depends from social system to social system. So adopters are the individuals. They can also be organizations. Okay, so say Microsoft comes with a new kind of suite for corporates which can ease out their work in HR management or finances, accounts. So their adopters will be the set of organization. Yes, very good. Rapido biking services. Yes, very good. And there will be a very important point also, when we can call that this innovation has been diffused. We will discuss this. Okay, business schools, hospitals. Okay, then communication channels. So what are communication channels? Can anybody tell me in a line or two? So how the information, okay, is going to reach to the masses. So it can be through folk, it can be through mass media also, it can be through interpersonal channels also. Okay. Then time, what is the rate of adoption? It can be sometime even 12 months. In other cases it can be 12 whole years. Okay. In some cases it can be 60 years. So every diffusion study have different time frame. Okay. Then last is social system. So social system are the key influences, like the presence of mass media, okay, organizational structures, democracy, or what kind of political structure is one living in. Okay, all these things it accounts as social system. And there can be internal influences like strong and weak social relationships. Okay, opinion leaders, we are going to talk about it later. Then solve this PYQ. Identify the correct sequence of diffusion of innovation according to E.M. Rogers. अभी हमने करा ना ये, identify the correct sequence of diffusion of innovation according to E.M. Rogers. So they are actually talking about elements. Okay, so first it started with innovation itself, the new idea. See here. Okay, first is innovation, then it was adopter, but they have not mentioned it. Okay, then comes the communication channel. Okay, then इसके innovation के बाद was adopter, but it is not present here. Then came the time frame. Okay, how much time is it going to take? Then social system. But if you look at it, these are just elements. They were written in his book in this chronology, but they are just elements. It doesn't make any sense why they are asking it in a form of chronology. If you look at his book, it is present in this manner only. Okay, but these are elements. Do you understand the difference between a element or progression of certain things? Okay, when we talk about, say, the progression of information, so there are stages. Like first it will be the knowledge state or cognitive state, where people get to know about the product. Okay, or then there will be a deciding factor whether they are going to accept it or reject it. But yes, exactly, but this doesn't make any sense. These are 5 elements. These are not chronology, but they have asked this question in a chronological order. So it's my responsibility to tell you that. Okay, I feel that these are just independent elements. The innovation itself, the adopters, the communication channels, a social system, time. There is no stages or a progression into it. That's what I feel about it. Okay, you can also go through the book and you can tell me in the comment box what do you feel about it. But this was a question asked by NTA. Okay, this thing. Moving forward. Okay, we will come to this later. So this study was meta-analysis of 508 different diffusion studies. Okay, they were from different disciplines. So rural sociology, anthropology, industrial psychology, okay, then development studies, advertising, a lot of studies. There were 508 different studies. He synthesized these findings in his book called Diffusion of Innovation. So what did he actually, what were the key findings? So first we already discussed that it was always a S-shaped curve. ठीक है, ये याद रखना कि so if we draw this on a map or okay, on a graph, so this is time, this is number of adopters. ये तो पता है ना आपको, x axis, y axis. So कोई एक प्रोडक्ट है, say air fryer, okay, it might have launched in 1990s, okay, or say early 2000s. Okay, so we can take this as a time frame of 10 years each or 5 years each. So 5 then 10 years, then 15 years, then 20 years, and this is the number of adopters. So in the beginning, for the very first few years, only say 10,000 people started using it. Then there was a sudden rise in just 5 years. In 5 years, it went to 50,000. Okay. Then again, there were very slow progression of adoption. Say in next 20 years, only 10 more thousand people started using it. So he found that there was a pattern to all the diffusion studies. So whenever a new kind of innovation was diffused in society, it went through a S-shaped pattern. Okay, and there were 5 kinds of adopters. So solve this question first. Yes, people started using online shopping. Very good. E.M. Rogers' work of diffusion of innovation illustrates the power of. Okay, very good. Meta-analysis. Okay, so the theory explains the passage of a new idea through stages of adoption by different people. So there are 5 main kinds of people or adopters, we can call them. So first is innovators. They are the risk takers. Okay, so those who are open to risk and first try new ideas. Okay, so let's say there is a new drug in the market. I gave you example, it can cure hair fall. So there will be innovators or the people who can actually take that risk. Okay, or say air fryers. The very first few people, they are, so this was through his meta-analysis, these percentages so he, according to those data sets, he inferred that they were 2.5%. Okay, then there were early adopters, people who are interested in trying new technologies and establishing their utility in the society. Okay, they will be always the affluent people. Okay, who have the resources to try new thing. Once they know that it is safer to use, they can accept it according to norms. Okay, then there were early majority, they were 34%. We can say these people are usually educated or in some cases upper middle class, those who have just started to earn a lot of money. Okay, so those who have the way for the use of innovation with mainstream society and part of general population. Okay, yes, like corona vaccine. Okay, then late majority is 34%, people who follow the early majority in adopting the innovation. Then these are the people, these are laggards. See these people, okay, they still take a lot of time after everybody has already adopted these kinds of technology. So we can take example of smartphones. Okay, if you look at it, this is a very practical example I can give you. So we all are 90s kids. Okay, some of you might be 2000s kids. So आप सभी ने अपने पेरेंट्स के हाथ में, पापा मम्मी के हाथ में वो नोकिया का फ़ोन देखा होगा. You remember that keypad phone. Then the transition to the smartphone. So there were still few people who and right now also, who are still using those keypad phones. They are slowly transitioning to the smartphones. Okay, yes. So this is a general pattern across all the diffusion studies what Everett Rogers found. Okay, so innovation must be widely adopted. So coming back to Priyam's example, Priyam was saying, sir, Rapido bike riding service. Okay, now this point is very important. Rapido bike riding service. So I guess there are several you will find in the bigger cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai. You will find those stands where you can rent a bike for 20 rupees an hour or 50 rupees an hour, and you can return it or you can hire them on rent. But how can we say that this technology or new idea has been diffused? It has to reach a critical mass. So there should be at least 20% of the people of the general population who has started using it or who have adopted it. So he calls it as critical mass. Okay, so innovation must be widely adopted to self-sustain. Say in a society only 10% people have you can say adopted that technology, say Rapido bike. So I feel that still this technology Rapido bike, it has not attained that critical mass right now. Okay, still now laggards are there in respect of to smartphones. Yes, so slowly they will transition to that smartphones. Okay, so this Rapido bike, it has yet not reached a critical mass. Say in a city, if we find that a number of people, okay, a good number of people have started using it. Let's take an example of Ola and Uber. Okay, these cab services. So it is also a rate of adoption, you will say it was very fast. So earlier people used to hire those private cabs. Now everybody is using Ola and Uber. Okay, then so in his book he writes that the tipping point occurs when a diffusion threshold of 10 to 20% adoption is reached. Okay, at least 20% people should start using it. Okay, this is clear. Then he says that there are 5 stages of adoption. Okay, this is a chronology. This should be asked in a chronological format. Earlier it was elements. You can also deduce yourself. Okay, so he says that there are 5 stages to it. So you can also look at it from the perspective of advertising models. When we are going to learn about ADA and Dagmar, you will find a lot of similarities there also. Okay, so he says that it goes through awareness or knowledge, you can say. So you have to first make them aware. So so give me few examples from development communication perspective. So say there is a new kind of birth control tablet, or new kind of technology, new kind of surgery, or you can say, okay, so how you first have to make them aware about new kind of innovation. Okay, or then there should be a interest, or it should generate some kind of persuasion. You have to persuade them. Okay, it could be through mass communication channels or through interpersonal communication. Then there will be a state of evaluation. Here they can either reject it or accept it. Okay, so they will try it, or they will look for samples. If we say we want to bring a new kind of shampoo in the rural market, so they will try it. We will send them samples. Then there will be implementation. Okay, or trial period. After evaluation they will try it, and last stage is adoption. Okay, so find out the current sequence of the stages in E.M. Rogers' model of division of innovations. First is information, we can say knowledge. Then is persuasion, or we can call it interest. Okay, persuasion or interest, it will be done through communication channels. Then there will be evaluation also. Okay, there will be evaluation. This is a very crucial stage. Okay, here they can even reject the idea or accept it. Okay, so this will be a decision making stage. Then it will be trial or implementation. Then last stage is confirmation, whether they are going to retain that innovation or not. Okay, so the right chronology would be knowledge. Knowledge is first everywhere. Then it should be persuasion. Okay, then decision. Last stage is confirmation. Okay, whether they are going to hold that innovation with themselves or not. So you can see how conceptually they are framing these questions. You should know the nitty-gritty of every topic also. Okay, moving forward, see, they keep asking these match the following questions also. So if you match Diffusions of Innovation with E.M. Rogers. Remember the year also 1962. Okay, so if we match A with 4, so only they see, if you only know one also, you can solve it. Okay, then this is also very important, integrated rural development. So this study, among the 508 studies conducted, there was also of Ryan and Gross, that I told you, I gave you the example of the agricultural seeds, the rate of adoption. So it was of Ryan and Gross, but I don't think you can remember it. Let me be very honest. If I tell you that I knew it already, I had to look for it. Okay, I would be as honest I could be. And then modernizing variables, C would be matched with, ये अभी हमने पढ़ा नहीं है, तो we shall come to it later. Change agents. Okay, so it was given by Daniel Lerner and Wilbur Schramm. Okay, so if you know 2 and 3, even 1 also, you can solve this question. Okay, moving forward, the book Diffusion of Innovation presents the concepts of innovation and argues 34% of people have the ability to face the risk, which is wrong. Only 2.5% people have the ability. But see how detailed questions are being asked in the recent pattern. Innovation means a new idea or behavior. Okay, good. The willpower to acquire innovation depends on one's ability. Okay, this is also right. Okay, then 50% of people have information through information in interpersonal communication channels. We shall discuss about it later, but this is also right. This laggards are 34%. It is wrong. It was 16.5%. Okay, so the right chronology would be B, C, D. Okay, so whatever we know right now, we could have also deduced it, because this is wrong. We have already learned the percentage, 2.5% innovators, then 13.5 were early innovators. So this stands wrong, and this is also wrong. Okay, so the right answer would be B, C and D. Okay, then he also talks about communication channels, which is a very, very important concept. Okay, so in 1962, we have already learnt about the media theory and models. What was going on in terms of effects? So was it a direct effect, or was it limited effect, cumulative effect? So he actually talks about theories. He rejects the idea of hypodermic needle theory in his book, and he supports the idea of Paul Lazarsfeld's theory of two-step flow. Okay, which this he actually accepts. Okay, or supports the hypothesis of two-step flow theory, which suggests that the flow of information in a society is two-way. Okay, so first, through mass media, it is disseminated through to opinion leaders, and which later disseminate it to the masses through interpersonal communication and other channels. Okay, so the way information about the innovation is communicated can affect its adoption. Word of mouth, mass media and social network play vital roles. So along with mass media, the role of interpersonal communication is immense. Okay, when we talk about, say, certain family planning initiatives, so he takes the case study of India in his book. In 1950s, the family welfare schemes. Okay, these kind of ideas. Okay, so we have to also bifurcate among ideas. So one is technology. So certain kinds of communication channels like mass media are very good in propagating the adoption. But when we talk about certain taboos, okay, or complex issues like family planning, where we are actually promoting certain kinds of ideas which can actually have a very high impact, or it can affect your life. So it has the role of interpersonal communication becomes very immense there. Okay, so innovator is not opinion leader. No, this is a common misconception that innovator, we cannot it can be and it can not be. But opinion leaders, we are talking about from the context of communication channels here. Okay, so who are opinion leaders in any system? They may be both innovative opinion leaders. Okay, here I'm coming to Komal. What she is saying, she is saying that our innovators, opinion leaders, they can either promote the innovation, or Komal, there are several those also who oppose it also. Okay, there are several opinion leaders, those who will oppose the innovation. They might say that you shouldn't be using this. Same case of COVID vaccine also, there were several people who were actually spreading the misinformation. They were saying, so Komal is saying, are the innovators opinion leaders? I am saying they can be, they cannot be. So there can other people who are opinion leaders, who have a certain kind of following in the society, who are actually opposing this. So say in case of agricultural communication, some people might be aversive to the idea that they should be using these scientific technologies. Okay, so innovators, they can be opinion leaders, they can not also be. Okay, there might be few people who oppose this technology. Okay, these influential persons can lead in the promotion of new ideas. Okay, they can head an active opposition also. So in general, opinion leaders, according to E. Rogers, are more exposed to all forms of external communication. Okay, so they have a wider exposure to external, or you can say mass media or other networks of communication. They might be lobbyist. Okay, they might be expert. So the role of expert also becomes important here. Okay, they might be expert in certain kind of area. So say a doctor, or an agriculturalist. Okay, or they can be an expert also in that particular field. Say there is a new kind of stock in the market, or new kind of investment. We can also look at new kind of investment. So every decade you will find a new kind of investment. This decade you saw Bitcoin. ठीक है, अगले बार कोई और नई kind of investment आ जाएगी. So some people might support it, some people might be against it. Okay, but these opinion leaders, they might be expert in certain kind of knowledge also. Okay, then they are cosmopolite. So can anybody tell me what is the idea of cosmopolitan town, or what is cosmopolite? Like many leaders, that it's not safe and stuff like that. Okay, so when we say that this the city of London is cosmopolitan, so the idea is that there is no specific boundary. The world is a single place. But a cosmopolite is a person who is a well-traveled person. Okay, he travels across boundaries. He has a lot of fan following. He is followed by a lot of people. Okay, these opinion leaders are cosmopolite, as Rogers is saying. Okay, then have somewhat higher social status. So it can be in the form of higher class, or higher expertise knowledge. Okay, so they have higher social knowledge. ये कल को आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं, जैसे ये पूछा है ना. So the book Diffusion of Innovation presents opinion leaders as, इसी तरह से आपको 4-5 स्टेटमेंट दे देंगे. ठीक है, तो आपको ये याद करना है. Then are more innovative. Okay, although the exact degree of innovation depends in one's social system norms. Okay, अब ये क्वेश्चन देखो एक. E.M. Rogers, in his theoretical advocacy of diffusion of innovations, introduced the concept of developmental symbolism, technocracy, cosmopolites, or social interactionism. The right answer would be yes, C, cosmopolites. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. This we have already discussed. What is critical mass? It should be at least adopted by 20%, say certain amount of people, then only it will become, self-sustainable. Else you are going to just spend a lot of money, people are not going to adopt it. Okay, there might be a situation where people are aversive to it, or they might have rejected it. So if it attains that critical mass, then only it is going to be successful. Then S curve we already discussed. Okay, this was a pattern in every kind of research. Okay, then according to E.M. Rogers, communication is seen as a process of idea convergence, process of data transfer, process of information preservation, process of trial and error experiment. Let us see, this is a conceptual question. We should try to deconstruct it. So he is saying communication is seen as in the process of diffusion. Okay, this is a new product. We have to diffuse it among people, so they start using it. What actually does communication idea convergence more appropriate? Okay, so what is idea convergence? That there is an idea. What will be the meaning of converging an idea? Convergence. We are spreading it to more people. Okay, then process of data transfer, which is the foundational function of communication, to disseminate information. Process of information preservation, so preservation is related to archiving. Okay, then convergence, process of trial and error experiment. So this seems more appropriate here, okay, to me. So convergence of idea with the technology. Okay, yes, idea convergence. So what do you guys think? What should be the more appropriate? This seems more appropriate. Okay, through communication we are trying to converge the diffusion among the masses. Okay, so guys, that was all for today's class. Okay, there is one more question. The diffusion of innovation theory recognizes non-adopters of innovation as? Okay, very good. Simple question, laggards. We shall start with dependency theory in our next lecture. Okay, so till then, please revise everything what you are learning. Revision becomes very important, else you won't retain a lot of things. And keep working hard. We shall keep meeting in our lectures. Okay, so take care. Bye. Okay, thank you so much, Bidhan. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask me. I'm here for one more minute, then we shall call this a day. And if you found this lecture helpful, you can like this video, and if you didn't, you can actually dislike this video. And those who are watching this recorded, tell me about your feedback. Okay, and if you have any doubt, you can write to me in comment box. You shall expect a prompt reply from me. Okay. Yes, I will change the thumbnail. Thank you, Bidhan, for telling me. Thank you.